Hi, I'm Greta Oliver. Welcome to the Educate You podcast, your roadmap to learning tips, techniques, and strategies to enable your student to successfully navigate the road to and through higher education. Hi, welcome into today's episode. Today's episode is going to be about something that's really important. In fact, all of these episodes are important, of course you know that, but this one is vitally important to me because it just determines what direction you're going to go in this college search, or whether you'll go in any direction or not. Today we'll be talking about finding your teen's why. This is very, very important, as I said before, because you just need to realize that as parents, we always want what we feel is the best for our students, for our children, for our loved ones, for our college-bound teenagers. We want what's best, but what we determine is best is based on our experience, our lenses, what we've gone through. And sometimes we can kind of jump the gun as parents and kind of begin to dictate the events of our children's lives. And so we want to make sure that in this particular situation that we're not doing that. And so what I think is one of the most important things that needs to occur before you begin the college search is finding your teen's why, finding your child's why. Why do they want to pursue higher education? Do they have a legitimate reason? Do they have a reason at all? This is a question that needs to be answered before you begin any kind of searches, before you step foot on campus, before you go to any school's website, before you pick up any book that's going to help in the process of going to college. And so I think the first thing that needs to happen is you need to have a candid and honest conversation with your child. And you need to ask them, why is it that you want to pursue higher education? Why do you want to go to college? What's exciting about college for you? And if they cannot articulate any reason, or if their reason is pretty sketchy, basic, they cannot really, verbalize what their reason, their rationale is for going, you need to kind of hold off. You need to pump the brakes. You need to stop before you have invested a ton of time, a ton of energy, and a ton of money into this process. As you all know, college is not cheap. In fact, we're always talking about how can we make higher education, or the pursuit of higher education, affordable. How can we as parents help, and what can we do to make this an easier transition as far as the finances are concerned? And so one thing that you can do is have this conversation with your child and determine what reasons, why they're going, what their end game is, what their goals are as far as higher education is concerned before you do anything. This could save you a lot of aggravation and time. So, as I said before, you need to have the conversation. That's the first thing on the list that you need to do before anything. Once you have spoken with your teenager, you have discussed their rationale, why they want to go, what's important about it, you can begin to start working with them to find an education or a college that fits them. One thing that you also have to keep in mind is you are your own person, and your student, your child, they're their own person as well. And so you can't, or you shouldn't, put your life try to live vicariously through them. You shouldn't put demands on them based on what your dreams are, realizing that they may not have the same ambition that you have, they may not have the same goals as you have, and that is perfectly okay. It's okay if they don't want to go to college at all, as we've discussed, and maybe while that might be disappointing to you, um, speak to them and get with them on the same page that they're on about what they do want to do. Work with them on a different plan. In the event that they do want to go to college, parents, please hear me. And I'm saying this as a mom of four who all went through their own college going experiences. Let your child drive the bus. If you have already had this discussion with your child and they're saying, "Oh yes, I want to go to college and I want to become such and such." They have something in their mind. First of all, realize that that might change. Also come to grips that that might not be what what you had in your mind about what they should do. But once again, this is their decision. And so if they said they want to go to college and they say they want to major in a certain thing, okay. So, what do you think that that major will afford you? What kind of opportunities do you feel will come from you majoring in such and such? And give them an opportunity to discuss what they feel and how that major is important to them and what they need to do and how they're going to use that major, should they stick with it, how they're going to use it in their future and how they hope to use it in their future. Listen to what they have to say, because most of this relationship at this point, especially with this college going trajectory, is about you listening as the parent and allowing them to guide the search. And while it's okay for you to, work along with them, it's okay for you to go on college visits with them. In fact, if you don't go with them, they probably won't go. It's okay for you to kind of, keep a little watch on what they're doing and if they're getting their materials together. Don't do it for them. Don't take over the college going process as if you're the student. Please don't do this. Because you have to realize, first of all, once again, they're the ones driving this bus. They are the ones making the decision about the college, about their future, about their major. Don't put, legacy expectations on them or, career expectations on them because of something going on in your household. Okay, yes, their dad might have been a doctor. The granddad might have been a doctor. The great grandfather might have been a doctor. But that does not mean that they want to be the doctor. Okay, so allow them to make their own decisions, as I said before. And I can't even stress this enough. It might seem like, I'm kind of being repetitious. I'm trying to say this stuff and the same thing in different ways. And maybe I am, because this is so important. If your student is not willing to participate in the job search, once they have communicated to you that yes, they want to go to college, yes, this is in their future, yes, they're excited about it. If they are not willing to do the work or share the work with you, they are not ready for college. And once they get there, you may be in for a negative rude awakening that they're not doing their work there either. So that's why I say don't do the work for them. Okay, you can call your child over and say, you know what, let's spend an hour today looking for colleges online. Let's do some video research or some internet research. Let's go to so-and-so website. What colleges are you interested in? You can work with them coming up with their colleges that they're interested in based on your location, based on if they want to go far away from home, based on in-state, out-of-state, based on what kind of college it is. All of those are vital and important discussions to have. So once you've kind of narrowed the field, or you're trying to narrow the field through your interviews online, you know, let's work together and let's kind of look at this. Let's do a virtual tour of so and so campus. They should be ready to do this with you. Okay. Once you have set yourself up for, determining and kind of breaking down what college you're looking for and which ones you really want to actually go visit in person, they should be ready to go on that trip. You should not be dragging them kicking and screaming toward a college tour. Once again, if they really want to go, they will be okay going, and they will be okay working with you in determining what the steps are. Okay, so we've covered quite a bit, and basically, I'm not trying to tell you that you don't know how to parent your child, but I am telling you this: if you are pushing someone towards something that they don't really want, although they might go, the outcome may not be what you want it to be. So, what we're talking about now is having a candid conversation with your child, finding out what their why is. Why do they want to go to college? Why is it important to them? Then you will talk to them about, maybe what their interests are. You might not even know, or they might not even know what their interests are. That's fine. Because a lot of students go to college and they're undecided and they really don't know what they want to do. And that's fine. And there are ways to get around that, and there are interest inventories and things that we'll talk about on another episode about how you can, kind of work with your student to help them determine things that they might be interested in based on interest inventories and naviance and different aspects and, that they can do, and books they can read, and situations that they can put themselves in, such as internships and shadowing and things of that nature. Find out like really what they want to do. So that's fine. So we're talking about that. Okay. We're talking about the fact that you will not and should not, I hope not, I promise you, write their application essays. Just like you can't go and take their standardized test for them, you cannot go in and take their SAT and ACT for them. Okay. You should not go in and write their application essays for them. You should not fill out the application for them. What you can do is kind of work with them to set up a system of reminders. Yes, this is due here. Yes, this is due there. You need to check the website about when your things are due. You can kind of monitor it that way, but that should be the end of it. Yes, it is okay for you to proofread their information, their letters, their application materials. It's okay to proofread it. You can even give some constructive criticism and say, what about this or what about that? But that is where your commentary should really end. Do not write it for them. You can hire a proofreader, or you can proofread it. There's nothing wrong with proofreading something. There is something wrong and unethical about writing their application materials, filling out their essays and filling out their application materials. And so you think about that. And once again, the same premise, the same thing applies. If they are not willing to write an application essay, they are not willing to fill out an application and submit it, when they are more technologically savvy than any of us. And it's nothing for them to get this stuff done, really. Okay, if they're not willing to do that, and once again, they're complaining, they're groaning, they're moping, they're, downright saying they're not going to do it, not ready for college. I'm sorry to have to tell you this, but I would rather tell you this now than once they're on campus and they are not going to class because they don't want to, or because they don't feel like it's important today, or the other reasons that they have. Maybe they're drunk. They've been partying too much. They don't know why they're there. They don't have a why. They're just there. This is an expensive lesson to find out after the fact. After financial aid has been allocated to them, which can quickly be taken away, after you've signed loan agreements, after you've bought all of the stuff for them to go down to college. You got the computer, you got the printer, you got all the materials for the dorm room, you have everything in place, and they don't want to be there. Not a good feeling. Not a good feeling. And like I told you guys before, I have been there and done that. I'm not just saying this as a professional who's seen it happen over and over again on college campuses. This actually happened to me personally. So I'm telling you, this is not a good feeling. Okay? So just be aware that the college search should not be a one man or one woman show and you are the one who's performing. Your student, your child, the person that you're trying to support and help should be all in with you. They should be ready, willing, able. In fact, they should be saying, Mom, I'm going to look at so-and-so college today. You want to look at the video tour with me? Do you want to go look at this website with me? I'd like your opinion. That's what really should be happening. Let them drive the bus. Remember, some takeaways from this. Let them be the student. Let them take charge of the search. Give them an opportunity to talk to you, because you might find out that they don't even want to go to college at all. And okay, if they don't, that's fine. Once again, this should be their decision. They're the ones that will have to move away from home, move on campus, be in unfamiliar territory, go through, the rigors of the coursework, all of that. It's not you doing that. So you need to allow them to be students and allow them to stand on their own and allow them to be, the decision makers about their future. Yes, as parents, we want our students to do well. There's nothing more than, the pride and the sense of accomplishment that you'll feel for your student when they are achieving something, when they're moving toward their destiny. That's great. Every mom, every dad, every supportive person, they're proud of their students at that time. And they want to see those moments, those great achievements. But just remember, if you are pushing somebody towards something just because of something that you are lacking within yourself, or something you wish could have gone a little bit differently in your life, but then you're projecting that onto your child, those situations, while they may be, in love, made in love, thought about in love, they're really situations that, where it's unfortunate, but you're kind of setting them up for failure. You're enabling them in their bad habits, especially if they don't want to go to school. Give them the opportunity to say what it is that they want, and then it's your job to try to help them get there, but let them do the driving. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We're talking about and have talked about the why of college, allowing your child, your student, to tell you or be able to verbalize to you their why. This is very important. Thank you. And I'll see you next week on Educate You. Thank you for joining us today on Educate You. If you wish, you can send me your questions or comments about the college going process or the podcast contents by sending an email to Dr. Greta at gretaoliverconsulting.com. Also, beginning each week after the podcast airs, check for a companion blog on my website's blog page at gretaoliverconsulting.com. My book, College Roadmap, Essential Tips for First-Time College Students and Their Families is available for sale on Amazon.com. Join us next week for another tip or strategy to make the road to higher education easier for your student.